A.J. Johnson and the Legends Cup champion Chicago Bliss make their 2017 debut. Next on LFL Football Night.
I just want to be given the chance.
You were the pioneers that built women's football.
The opportunity to succeed. Or even to fail.
You are the league of their own.
Figure out what the you need to do mentally to be able to sacrifice everything for the girl next to you.
You better knock the shit out of it.
Put the hurt on them first. Keep them on the ground. Stick your foot on their throat.
LFL Football Night has arrived to the Mile High City. Welcome inside the booth of LFL Football Night here in Denver, Colorado, alongside my partner, Bobby Huco. And Bobby, we've got the Denver Dream hosting the Chicago Bliss. The Bliss coming off a 2017 Legends Cup championship. Tonight's the first time we get to see them.
And the rich get richer. One of my favorite players, Allie Albert, she's coming back from suspension, one of the finest wide receivers and safety in the league. Now you team her up with one of the nominees for Rookie of the Year last year, A.J. Johnson, my favorite receiver also. Two of my favorite receivers. These two will make up the best tandem in the LFL. Caldwell's got to get him the football.
Yeah, Johnson and Alberts, those are great weapons on the outside. Like you said, somebody's got to get him the football, though. Last year, that was Jacinda Barkley facing a suspension. Now, the Aussie quarterback did lead him to a Legends Cup championship. Fast forward to 2017, we still have an Aussie under center, but her name is Jane Caldwell. Caldwell had a great season in 2016 with Los Angeles, but now with the return of Ashley Salerno, the longtime quarterback in Los Angeles, Caldwell read the writing on the wall, packed her bags, and now is here in Chicago.
She was handed the keys to the Ferrari. I like her as a quarterback. I compare her a lot to Tim Tebow, a fantastic runner. She throws the ball okay, accurate, but not sensational passer. I think she's going to fit in very well in Chicago.
I'm sure she'll appreciate the Tim Tebow reference. Now let's talk about the Denver Dream. Here's a team that originated in 2009, went on hiatus, is back in completely new look. You've got a head coach in Carlos Bates with zero experience in the LFL and really a roster of no names. For a closer look at this team, we go down to the field with Brenna Black.
Thanks, Mitch. You're right, there's a lot unknown about this Denver team. For example, they have yet to identify a quarterback for this franchise. Although in speaking with Coach Carlos Bates, Shalyn Canfield will start tonight at quarterback. He added, they just need to keep Chicago's high-powered offense off the field to stay in this game into the fourth quarter. He said that they just need to believe in themselves because no one else does. This is truly a David versus Goliath matchup tonight. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brenna. It may be snowing and 30 degrees outside, but inside the Budweiser Event Center, we're just heating up. Kickoff is... We are back to LFL Football Night. Moments before kickoff, we go down to the field with Brenna Black.
Thanks, guys. We are moments away from kickoff, and I am here with Denver Dream head coach Carlos Bates. Coach Bates, you're up against the reigning champs tonight, Chicago Bliss. How did you prepare for this moment?
We prepare hard. Hey, we're going to come out fast. We prepare great. The girls are ready. They're ready for this game.
Confident Coach Bates. Best of luck to you guys tonight. Back to you guys for kickoff.
Coach Bates does not lack confidence. When I spoke to him before the game, he absolutely thinks he can beat the defending champ Chicago.
That's Isaiah Walker and Tamar Fennell on the return. Gaining nearly 17 yards. What a return right off the bat. That'll set up Chicago at about the 23-yard line.
It's great seeing Tamar Fennell back for another season, a veteran here in the LFL, one of the top kick returners in the league, just a great all-around player.
Our first look at number 15, Jane Caldwell. We talked about her in the pregame show, Bobby. She came in signing with Chicago after the return of Ashley Salerno to the lineup in Los Angeles.
There's no question the key to Chicago's offense this year is Jane Caldwell. Coach Keith Hack told me This team has more talent than any team he's coached. Now it's up to Caldwell to keep them all together.
Jane Caldwell in the Chicago offense wearing visors tonight. That is a new look in the LFL. Caldwell now dropping back to pass, has a receiver. That was A.J. Johnson. The ball sailing over her head.
Johnson jumped up instead of running through the football. Good throw by Caldwell.
Now let's meet the starters for Chicago.
A.J. Johnson, wide receiver. Tamar Fennell, wide receiver.
May Gamble, tight end.
Quincy Hewitt, offensive line.
Brittany Wilson, center. Ferrari Harris, the running back.
Jane Caldwell, your quarterback.
With Allie Alberts back at wide receiver, Jane Caldwell has a choice of 3 outstanding receivers with Fennell and A.J. Johnson.
You could talk about Allie Alberts and A.J. Johnson, but there's the one young lady that has been the unsung hero through the past 4 or 5 seasons. That is Christelle the Ferrari Harris, gaining 12 yards.
Arguably the finest running back ever in the history of the LFL. With so much talent around her, though, Keith Hack does not have to give her the football all the time. Her wear and tear over the years is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot better season for her this year because she won't be carrying the football as much.
That has been the case over the past year. Previously, as much as 80% of the offense went through number 13. A 1st and 10 ball at the Denver 15. Caldwell dropping back to pass again. Looking to the left side, has a receiver. Connecting with A.J. Johnson for 12 yards.
Great catch. We talked about her catch radius. The ball was behind her, but she reached back and grabbed it. Jane Caldwell getting all kind of protection. Meg Campbell, Quincy Hewitt, and Brittany Wilson. Nobody's even close to the quarterback.
I like the way she's operating this offense. I realize it's very early on, and the mixture of the play calling here, establishing the run with Christelle Harris and looking for A.J. Johnson down the field.
She looks solid. No butterflies so far.
A 1st and goal ball at the 3. That is a pitch out, Christelle Harris. Harris losing the ball, but able to recover her own fumble. That was Lauren Fogel forcing the fumble.
Wow, you rarely see that. The Ferrari, she could have walked in the end zone. She looked like she was hesitant which way to cut, and she run into her own player, and she fumbled the football herself.
The Chicago coaching staff on hand. One of the deepest staffs in the entire league. There's a reason they are the Legends Cup champions, well coached.
Matt Pike, the quarterback coach, is a big reason why Caldwell is prepared.
That is a 2nd and goal play, stretching to break the plane. Touchdown, Chicago.
The Ferrari again, that didn't look like classic Ferrari football. She stumbled at first, but reached across the line, got the ball in. A real solid start for Chicago. Now, if somehow Denver could have got that recovery, it would have been a different situation. But right now, Chicago on the board early. They look like they stopped her, pushed her back, but the Ferrari got to the line.
She just has a nose for the end zone. Nobody has been in the end zone more over the past 3 years than Christelle the Ferrari Harris.
Coach Carlos Bates, he said the key to his defense was to stop the Ferrari. They wanted to put the ball in Caldwell's hands and see if she could throw the football against his defense.
Chicago now going for the 2-point conversion from the 3. Inside handoff, and just strolling into the end zone is number 13.
What a block up front by Meg Campbell. You could have ran through that hole. What a start for Chicago. Looks like the champs are back.
Denver will get an opportunity now. This is an offense that is kind of scotch taped together. There's no real veteran in the group. At quarterback is Shalyn Canfield. We're going to refer to her as Z tonight.
Z is a great player, a great athlete. She just needs somebody to help her out. I watched her in warm-up. She can throw the football, and I think she's a good runner too, just like Caldwell is for Chicago.
Great open field tackle by the all-fantasy DN, Chantel Taylor. That was a 1-yard carry by Haley Ryan.
One of the great defensive ends. Her bookend of last year, Yashi Rice, is not playing this year. Nneka Nwani filling her spot, and she can blow up people just like Rice could.
A 2nd and 9 now for Z. Shalyn Canfield at quarterback. Dropping back to pass, rolling right, and just beyond the outstretched arms of Mary Towner as we meet this Denver offense.
Asia Walker, wide receiver. Mallory McDowell, wide receiver. Mary Towner, tight end.
Sasha Cruz.
Lindsay Q, center.
Haley Ryan, running back.
Jalen Canfield, your quarterback.
You know, we spoke about Canfield, a quarterback, but the key tonight is going to be that offensive line. Lindsey Fields is the center, and the tight ends, they have to stop that rush of Chicago.
They're going to go back to Haley Ryan. Ryan delivering on a 3rd and 9, gaining 5 yards on the ground, setting up a convertible 4th and 4.
Another great athlete on that Denver team, Ryan. She was a Division I lacrosse player. She has all kinds of talent. Again, she just needs some blocking up front. Great play.
A 4th and 4. We're going to get a look at the arm of Z again. I would expect here. Not sure they have any threats on the outside, though.
We don't know. Everybody's so young. We know all about the quarterback. Now we have to see if the wide receivers are there.
A 4th and 4, keeping it on the ground. Great tackle by the Defensive Player of the Year, Kristen Morrison. We'll now go to a media timeout. Chicago up 8-0. Back to the Budweiser Event Center in Denver, Colorado. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco and Brenna Black in a game that has Chicago up 8-0 and threatening again. A 1st and 10, ball at the 17. That is Shabria Civilian in motion, and that's a reverse to Ty Alley. Look at the tackle. That was Jasmine Davies. This defense showing a little bit of athleticism.
Now that is a textbook tackle. Davies just stood there. She planted her eyes right on the belly button of Ty Alley. 1-on-1 in open field. That's the Smurf set for Chicago when they bring Alley in. 1-on-1, Alley should be able to get around Davies, but Davies, what a play. That's how to play cornerback.
That 1-yard loss setting up a 2nd and 11. Ball at the 16 of Denver. This is Caldwell back to pass into the end zone and just through the arms of Ty Alley. Let's meet the starters for Denver.
Alyssa Stongel, corner. Jasmine Davies, corner.
Lauren Fogel, strong safety.
Haley Ryan, free safety.
Lindsay Q, linebacker.
Mary Towner, defensive end.
Stacy Harmon, defensive end.
A young defense for Denver. The only veteran in there is Lauren Fogel, who has previous experience in Omaha and Las Vegas.
A 3rd and 11. A.J. Johnson in motion. That is a toss left. Javille Thompson, a lot of real estate, and getting into the end zone. There's pretty much no defense on that play.
That was a great stalk block by Ty Alley. Coach Dave Mills, the wide receivers coach, he stresses to his receivers, you not only catch the ball, you have to block. 1-on-1 stalk block. Alley just pushed her all the way back in the end zone, and Javelle Thompson walked in. What a block.
Chicago extending its lead to 14-0. And you could see the confidence of this offense. They're going for a 2-point conversion on every scoring opportunity.
You can tell they're not skipping a beat since they won the championship. They look like they've been playing the whole offseason.
That is a bull rush up the middle, design keeper by Caldwell. And that'll extend Chicago's lead to 16-0.
So far, Jane Caldwell is everything that Coach Keith Hack wants. No mistakes, no bad reads. She is the leader out there. She's a winner. We know that already from Los Angeles. But this could be a long night for Denver.
That was only a 3-play, 15-yard drive. When you give that offense 15 yards to pay dirt, they're going to make you pay.
Absolutely. They don't even have to throw the football. With that line, that offensive line, and those backs, the Ferrari and Javelle Thompson, and that kind of blocking outside, you really don't have to throw the football, and they have the top 2 receivers in the league.
Denver's offense going back to work, down 16 points. Tossed right to, that looked like Ryan Haley. And that'll be a loss of 6 yards. Tackled by Nneka Nwani.
Nneka Nwani, last year there was some problems off the field. Coach Keith Hack brought her back. And with Yashi Rice retiring, what a time for her to come back. She is just as dominant as Rice.
Coach Keith Hack manning the defense, has since 2009. Next to him, James Bruner, as we talked about, one of the deepest coaching staffs in the entire league.
I wish all the other teams would look at how this coaching, how it works. A lot of teams don't have quarterback coaches. Pike is one of the best.
Look at the sack. That is Deandra Fry. That was a corner blitz. Z did not see it. I take that back. That is Nneka Nwani. We just talked about her. She's just a dominant force that nobody ever factors.
With her on that side, and then on the other side, Chantel Taylor. I mean, I'd hate to be a defensive line. And with such a young team, when I was talking to Coach Bates, his quarterback doesn't know this offense well enough to check off yet.
That was a 6-yard loss, now setting up a 2nd and 16. A poor snap back to Z, and running for her life, losing the ball. That looks like Chicago recovers Deandra Fry.
They came from the outside again. The cat corner blitz came right in. But you mentioned it. That snap was so bad, it floated up there, and it took all the momentum. She didn't know where to go after she got the ball. The cat corner blitz, Chicago has it back.
Allie, come here. Start fucking looking at me, all right? That's fucking like 3 times already. I called near Cowboy straight, not fucking cowboy. You're supposed to go fucking inside, all right? Pay attention, all right?
Coach Hack not wasting a beat to get on his team, and meanwhile on the field, that is Javille Thompson's 2nd score of the first quarter.
That's why Coach Keith Hack is a championship coach. He's a detail guy. Even little things, they're dominating this game, but he wants to win so bad, he wants to teach the right way from the first game of the season.
Chicago up 22-0. Again lining up for a 3-point conversion. This Denver offense has got to get the ball on the other side of the field. They continue to give this offense short field position. Here's the 2-point attempt, and that is going to be too easy. Christelle de Ferrari Harris walking into the end zone.
Mary Towner had a shot at the Ferrari, but she looked like she wanted nothing to do with the Ferrari. One-on-one tackle, one juke, and she was gone. Towner made no effort.
The previous series, Chicago had 15 yards of field, their offense did, to the end zone. That previous series, 3 yards.
You can't do, you're gonna lose big like that. But you mentioned it earlier, this snap, the easiest thing in football, the quarterback center exchange. It floated up there and it throws the whole play off, and they fumbled the ball, and look what happened.
This young rookie quarterback for Denver being tested early. With her offense down 24 points, we're not even out of the first quarter. Down the field, connecting with Mallory McDowell. Denver finally showing some signs of life.
The defensive backs were there. I don't know what Dominique Collins, usually she'll break that up, and that ball floats. Watch this ball float up there like a wounded duck. What a great catch by McDowell. She's a former Division I soccer goalie, and she looked like a goalie right there. Caught the ball at the highest point and brought it down in traffic.
That should give Canfield some confidence here. This is the first time Denver's been in Chicago's backyard. Now rolling right, design quarterback keeper. Z does have a bit of athleticism, gaining 2 yards on that.
I'm not sure how she got 2 yards. It was a design quarterback sweep. The running back was supposed to be in front of her as a lead blocker, and she ends up behind the quarterback, but she still got 2 yards.
This Denver offense finally making its way down the field. That'll bring us to the end of the first 10 minutes of play. Here from the Budweiser Event Center, the Denver Dream being dominated on both sides of the ball. Back to the second quarter of LFL football night here at the Budweiser Event Center. The home team down 24-0. And this is Canfield back to pass into the end zone and just deflected. That looked like Allie Alberts in coverage.
Great play right there. I like the way Denver was going, attacking the safeties. Coach Bates told me, even though they're all hyped up, he thought he could complete passes.
We do have a penalty on this play. Head referee Tony Bates.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 17 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Now the call is on Chicago. Unnecessary roughness, that'll give them a 1st and goal. That is exactly the break Denver was looking for.
You can see they're finally getting some, it took the first quarter, but they're finally getting some traction. This offense is moving the football. The quarterback's doing a good job. Ryan's running the ball. McDowell's catching it, and they're inside the 10-yard line.
Canfield will be in shotgun here. Ryan Haley flanked to her right side. Both receivers now moving to the right side. That is Z. Canfield, look at her dart around. And she'll gain 4 yards with her height. Sometimes some of these taller Chicago defenders are going to have a tough time finding her.
Well, they don't recognize her speed. She has that good burst right there. She's a much better runner than passer, but she's a good field general. We can tell that. If they can somehow get some momentum, get in the end zone here, who knows? Maybe they can make a comeback.
A 2nd and goal for the Denver offense. Ball at the Chicago 5-yard line. This is the deepest threat that we have seen from the Dream all night. Canfield back to pass under a lot of pressure. That is Kim Perez. And that'll be a 5-yard loss. The strong safety coming up.
We mentioned Chicago as a quarterback coach. You can tell Denver doesn't. That's a bad drop right there. She went in front of the running back who was going to block for her. Blame that all on the quarterback.
Denver was set up beautifully inside the 5-yard line. Now they are backed up at the 10. A 3rd and goal for Canfield.
Big play right here. Let's see if Canfield somehow can make something happen.
Canfield again under center, just chucking the ball up and connecting. That is Mallory McDowell. That connection has proven some success early.
Wow, that ham is tasty. Watch this play by McDowell. All kind of pressure on Z. She somehow gets the ball off. She's stopped by 3 players and gets in the end zone. Wow.
Mallory McDowell, 5'8", 140, is a physical presence on that front line.
Hey, fuck it. We're going for 2 every fucking play. I don't give a fuck. Tell Omar we're going for 2. I don't give a fuck.
Coach Hack is going for 2 from now on. He is hot right now. He expected a shutout tonight. He is unhappy with his defense. He said they're not going to score on me tonight, and they already have. Wow, what a play and what an offense that Denver put in on that drive.
The Denver Dream offense finally getting on the board. Now going for a 2-point conversion. Toss right, nothing doing. That is Chantel Taylor. Taylor having a great first half.
I really have to question that call by Coach Bates. He went to the weak side of the field. There was no blocking outside. The safeties were wide open to come up. There's no chance that could score.
You could see the disgust on the face of Coach Keith Hack. He did not want to give up any points to this expansion team.
Coach Hack extremely upset with his defensive coaches, Coach Knox, the defensive backs, allowing them to catch the football. That defense was on roller skates that drive. Who knows? If they can get a turnover here, who knows? Maybe make a little comeback before halftime.
1st and 10 for this Chicago offense. Ball at the 15-yard line. All 3 receivers flanked to the left side of Caldwell. Caldwell looking to that side now, keeping it herself. Showing her wheels. We've seen it from Shalyn Canfield on the Denver side, and certainly Jane Caldwell has that skill set.
That's what she gives you. There was nothing downfield. She tucked it up. She had no blocking outside. In fact, the corner Walker had her one-on-one, one little juke, and Caldwell was gone. She's a great running quarterback, a great field general. She makes positive yards with plays like that.
A 1st and 10 ball out near midfield. And actually across midfield into Denver territory. Caldwell back under center, mishandling the snap, rolling right, throwing down the field, and just cannot connect with A.J. Johnson.
Again, we spoke about it before, but the snap is everything. You got to get the snap or it throws the whole play off. Right there, the timing was off. Johnson was wide open across the field. She couldn't get it there. Her feet weren't set because of the snap.
A 2nd and 10 now. Ball remains at the 24. This offense will take some time for Jane Caldwell to get timing down with these lethal receivers on the outside.
You're right, and you saw Coach Keith Hack's face. He knows little mistakes like that won't work against the Atlantas and Seattles.
2nd and 10, Caldwell back to pass. Nobody rushing and throwing into the secondary, nearly intercepted. That was Haley Ryan dropping a sure interception.
Jane Caldwell right now looks a little shaky. Didn't have the right drop there. Went right into her running back when she threw the ball. Throw it into the coverage. That ball should have been picked off by Ryan. I'm telling you what, a big play like that right now for Denver brings them right back in the game, but she dropped the football.
And you could see the frustration from head coach Carlos Bates. Coach Bates also oversees that defense and knew that was a gift-wrapped interception.
A former cornerback at Oklahoma State, he knows you have to make that catch.
And here's Christelle the Ferrari Harris getting into the second layer of that Denver defense. That'll be a carry of 10 yards.
Wow, did you see the defensive line of Denver? They're backpedaling like defensive backs. The front line of Chicago Blitz, Gamble, Wilson, and Ewart, absolutely putting them on roller skates.
Holding. Offense. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains third down.
That is the one thing that has not gone to Chicago's favor. Several key penalties here in the first half.
That's the only thing. Look at Coach Hack right there. Not a happy camper at all with his team. They're winning big, but this is not championship football.
That'll set up a 3rd and 15 now, erasing that 10-yard run by Harris. Another mishandled snap, quick screen. That is complete to Shabria Civilian. And Civilian still fighting through arm tackles, will gain 12 yards.
The offensive line, I don't know what's up with that snap. You're right, that threw the pass off. They completed, they got a big gain, but they're not getting the center quarterback exchange.
Civilian, part of a 3-package system here, pretty much the same body type. You've got Tamar Fennell, Civilian, and Javille Thompson. It's almost like Coach Hack and that offense went out seeking those young, shifty running backs.
And they all cross-train. They can play different positions. Tamar Fennell was a running back, Javille Thompson running back, but they catch the football just as well.
This is a 4th and 3 for Caldwell, breaking through the arm tackle and getting into the end zone. Caldwell, one of the bigger quarterbacks in the game, showing her size and strength.
Jane playing like Tarzan. Watch her just shed tacklers right here. Again, nothing there. Steps up in the pocket, dodges one rusher. Right there, she could be smacked. She runs right around them for a touchdown. Walks into the end zone.
You saw a pair of Denver defenders basically blocking one another in the secondary. This is a very raw roster.
Raw and not talented on defense, or out of position, because the defensive line is playing like defensive backs right there. There's no pressure, there's no tackling, there's no nothing.
Chicago now up 30-6. We've got another penalty. Tony Bates very busy here in the first half.
Delay a game. Offense. 5 yards. Retry.
That is yet another Chicago penalty. Those are the things that I would be concerned about. As you mentioned earlier, the powerhouses in this league, Atlanta, Seattle, Los Angeles, you're not going to be able to make these kinds of mistakes against them.
That's not going to fly at all. Maybe it's good it's happening all tonight against Denver, the expansion team, but you're right, they're going to get blown away by the big guys.
That is Jane Caldwell from the 9, wide open. You could see A.J. Johnson flank to the right, and no corner went over there. That'll extend Chicago's lead to 32-6. And we sat down with A.J. Johnson.
AJ, with a successful rookie season behind you, do you feel like you're ready to take a leadership role?
I definitely do. I've been very fortunate to have a good veteran class that really showed me the ropes when I was a rookie last year, and I see myself leading by example most of all, but hopefully I'll be able to fill their shoes.
A.J. Johnson has definitely stepped up her game this season, especially with a new quarterback. She's going to have to add that leadership to the huddle.
Looking at those impressive 2016 numbers, her teaming up with Allie Alberts, we talked about it all game long. That is the best 1-2 punch I've ever seen.
They're going to have to work on that game, though. I know it's Denver, but that passing game is not clicking just right just yet.
Canfield very late in the pass, nearly intercepted. That was deflected by all-fantasy corner Dominique Collins.
Canfield's arm lacks that zip to get the ball there, and against a defensive coverage led by Collins and Alberts in the secondary, you need more zip in the ball to complete the passes.
Canfield will be going up against the best secondary in the LFL tonight. You've got 3 all-fantasy members with Dominique Collins at corner, Allie Alberts and Kim Perez at the safety position.
This team is deep in talent. They're built to last. Coach Hack said, as you said, that's the best secondary he's ever had.
And that is Lauren Fogel gaining 8 yards. Great tackle by Chantel Taylor.
Fogel, one of the strongest players on this Denver team. They're trying her at running back. Actually, they're looking for an answer. Nothing's really clicking right now on offense. She's a good athlete. She has the experience. Now they're putting on the offensive side, seeing she could be a spark.
You don't necessarily see the surge, the aggressiveness from Denver, and sometimes that's a sign of being intimidated, being timid out there. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that shell shock factor. This is Canfield rolling right, has a lot of green grass ahead of her, and shoved to the boards by Kim Perez, but not before gaining 8 yards.
Canfield is a good raw talent. All she needs is a little bit more time on the grill, and she can be a good one here in the league.
A 1st and 10. Canfield may not be able to pass the ball effectively, but has kept Denver dreams alive with her legs.
Her legs, even with her arm, even though it's not a great strong arm, she's completing passes, and she has a solid receiver.
A 1st and 10 for Canfield in this offense. Ball on the Chicago side of the field. Canfield seems to be more comfortable in the shotgun, although that snap sails way over her head. And she just did all she could to get the ball back. A loss of 8 yards on that play.
That is just lack of practice, lack of preparation, lack of repetition. Lindsey Fields, the center, there's no excuse for throwing it over a quarterback's head. In fact, it should be lower from the waist down. And the quarterback, even if she has to move up to 4 yards instead of 5, you have to make that happen. Now they're way back with nowhere to go.
Very little blocking up front. No aggressive play by that offensive line, and Lindsey Fields, the center, really struggling. Despite all that, Denver does get on the board, 32-6. Back for the final 2 minutes of the second quarter. A game that the Legends Cup champion Chicago Bliss are comfortably ahead.
They look like the champs right now. That running game led by the Ferrari, and she's not even working hard tonight. It's a great, almost scrimmage for Chicago opening the season.
Canfield back to pass. Throwing to the right side, nobody there. That was an ugly looking duck complete to head coach Keith Hass.
He didn't even catch it. He's got hands like feet, but that's Coach Hack. He's a defensive guy. But the quarterback, you're right, there was nothing there. The drop wasn't there. She just threw it down the field. Absolutely no timing. It looked like there wasn't even a play.
We'll see if there's any sophistication to this offense. There should be in a 2-minute set here. The clock is stopped for Canfield and Denver. Trailing this one, 32-6. Dropping back to pass again, looking down the field. Nobody there, going to take off with it. And that front line aggressive defense led by Dominique Collins and Kristen Morrison track down Canfield.
They do a play action fake. I don't know why, because Chicago knows they're going to be throwing the ball every play now going into halftime, trying to get back on the board. But it doesn't look like they have an offensive scheme. It doesn't look like there's anything there. It looks like, almost playground football.
That previous 7-yard run by Canfield, setting up the Denver offense now at the 24-yard line. Plenty of time here with 2 timeouts remaining for Denver. Canfield back to pass, rolling right. Again, using her feet to get to the outside. That was a gain of 4 yards.
She got 4 yards, but that was a design pass. She didn't even stay in the pocket to look downfield for receivers. It's just, she hasn't been coached up as a quarterback.
Yeah, she seems like she's almost a wildcat type quarterback, but playing full time.
Absolutely. Right there, it's a design, stay in the pocket. She had a little bit of protection, but she ran outside to run the ball.
Canfield not gaining enough for a first down as Chicago goes back to work here. Plenty of time on the clock for them as well with 2 timeouts.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Hack try to pass the football, get that passing game going a little bit. The rushing game looks solid, rock solid.
Caldwell in the shotgun. All 3 receivers flanked to her left side. That's the side she's looking down the field. Crossing pattern. That could have been a pass interference on Lauren Fogel. Pass intended for Allie Alberts.
Nothing there. Double coverage. Again, not a great pass by Caldwell. She had all kind of time. She overthrew the receiver. Even if it was on target, I don't think it would have been complete.
It will take some time for number 5 to get back into the sync of this offense. Prior to her 2016 suspension, Allie Alberts was a top 3 receiver in the LFL. Now Jane Caldwell in this offense going back to work. A 2nd and 10. From the shotgun, looking down the field, nobody there, checking down. That is Alberts in the open field and getting it down to about the 10-yard line. We sat down with the all-star receiver.
Allie, so you took a season off from the LFL. What do you feel like you missed?
Well, obviously a championship, but more so than that, I missed really the sisterhood that I have with the girls. I miss coming to practice. I miss being with them all the time. I miss Hack. I'm just grateful to be back out there on the field again, to be honest.
Allie Alberts was chomping at the bit to get back with the Bliss. Hey, Coach Keith Hack, he doesn't care who's there, who's not there. He'll plug in another player. He'll recruit somebody else. He won a championship without Allie Alberts. That's why she wants back in so badly.
And you saw the weapon that she is. Yards after the catch, Yak. She really, that's where she makes her bread and butter happen in the open field. One of the better elusive runners.
She is a quarterback's dream. Just get her the football, and like you said, that Yak yard after the catch, she is great at.
That is a quick screen to A.J. Johnson. Caldwell struggling to connect with number 18. That just looked like it was bad from the beginning. A poor snap. Caldwell couldn't handle it, couldn't get it out there.
You're right. On a pass like that, any kind of tunnel screen, you got to fire it out there, you got to bullet it out there so she can catch the football and react to the defense and run. She floated it out there, bad snap, just a bad all-around play.
Caldwell this time under center, looking over that Denver defense. A.J. Johnson in motion. Again, a poorly handled snap. Caldwell trying to make something happen and lowering her shoulder into the end zone and just staring down the Denver defender.
Again, it shows what a great athlete, what a great runner she is, but the ball was fumbled. This is not the design play. This is not going to win championship. Yeah, you're a great athlete, but something's got to be repaired on that center quarterback exchange.
The 23-year-old Jane Caldwell, that is her 2nd score of the first half, showing she can get it done on the ground as well. A big quarterback, standing at 5'7", 155 pounds.
People forget she was a star running back for Atlanta. I mean, the question is, as everybody says, can she play the quarterback position, which she did in Los Angeles, but little things like we're seeing right here, can she win a championship making those little mistakes?
That was a good extra point attempt, a 2-point attempt at that. That'll extend Chicago's lead to 40-6.
40-6, it's not even out of the first half yet. Somehow Denver has to get some momentum going into that second half. Their quarterback has to spark something here from this offense.
Canfield, the complete opposite of Jane Caldwell, standing very short in the pocket. That is another design keeper. They don't have a lot of faith in Canfield's arm with all these design quarterback keepers.
Design quarterback draw, she can run, but they have a receiver. Mallory McDowell can catch the football in traffic. I would just throw it up to her like they did, and she can go get it.
The clock continues to wind down. That was a 14-yard carry by Canfield. This Denver offense trying to get back on the board, building some kind of momentum going into the second half.
This is only their first game, only their first half of football. It's going to be a long season if they don't start clicking on something. They have to work on their basics right now.
Canfield starting to get a little more comfortable in this offense. And that front line not buying her a lot of time. She's really out there on her own. Another poor snap by Lindsey Fields. And she's going to lose valuable time in the pocket if Fields cannot snap the ball back to her.
Absolutely. They're on top of her by the time she catches the football. She can't even make a read down. So watch it floats. You cannot float a snap like that. She has absolutely no time. There's no blocking up front at all. I actually feel bad for her.
Chantel Taylor and Nneka Nwani. This should be the final play of the first half. This time a decent snap by Fields. Down the field, intercepted. That is Kristen Morrison in the open field, blowing past the offense. Touchdown, Chicago.
Peanut butter jelly time. What a play by Morrison. Playing like a center fielder, dropping back in coverage. They tried to put it over her head. She jumps up. Watch this catch. Just floating in the middle, brings it down, and then runs like a running back. Runs like the Ferrari, as good or better than the Ferrari, striding into the end zone. Wow.
After the interception, personal foul on the return team, number 19. By rule, it's halftime.
That is the 4th penalty on Chicago, and that will erase Morrison's touchdown. Despite that, Chicago has dominated throughout the first 20 minutes of play as the Legends Cup champion are up 40-6 going into halftime.
It's real simple. Either you follow the instructions or you don't play. It's just that simple. If people are telling you what to do, you shut the up and you do it. It's real simple. The eye in the sky don't lie. We see everything on the camera. You do what you're told. You want to do your get the out of here. Okay? It's easy. Yep. These guys are telling me from upstairs. We're telling you. Fix your game. This pussbag team. What a joke. You should all be embarrassed. All of you. Where's the quarterback? Start throwing the ball. Every one of you motherfuckers. Let's go.
Welcome back inside the booth of LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Huco. We're at 40-6 here at halftime. We knew when the schedule came out, Denver would be tested early against the Legends Cup champion Chicago Bliss. But a score of 40-6?
A lot of points. It was all about field position. Chicago averaged on their offensive drives only 10.3 yards. That's unbelievable. With this high-powered offense, there is no wonder they scored 40 in the first half.
A lot of that was because of Jane Caldwell, the first-year starter at quarterback. What was your assessment of her?
Solid first half, not sensational. Again, playing against Denver, that defense was not good, but she ran for 2 scores, 10 and 7 yards, and she averaged 9.3 per carry. Very good first half for Caldwell.
Now another first-year starter is Shalyn Canfield, the rookie quarterback for Denver. She was kind of running for her life most of the first half.
The whole first half, she was running for her life. A great athlete. She knows what to do back there, but she has no protection. That dominant Chicago front line absolutely destroyed Denver's offensive line. They need to protect the quarterback.
The second half kickoff is next. We are back for the final 20 minutes of football here at the Budweiser Event Center, just outside of Denver, Colorado.
It might be reaching to say that Denver can make a comeback against the champs, coming back 34 points, but they need something. They need some kind of spark. They get the ball here in the third quarter. Canfield's got to make some connections.
Dominique Collins will kick us off here. One of the better kickers in the game. Nice high, deep kick. In fact, out of the back of the end zone. Denver will start at its own 10-yard line.
Excellent kick. One of the best I've seen all season, all last season. Out of the back of the end zone. What a lay.
Canfield coming back out onto the field. As we take a look at her numbers, she got it done moderately well in the first half.
Moderately is a compliment. She only completed passes to McDowell, and they were floaters that McDowell came down with.
Ball at the 15-yard line. That is Canfield back in the shotgun. Balls are still very soft getting back to her. That was a great pass, although that's intercepted. I thought that was completed. It looked like Kristen Morrison made a step in front of this.
That was her best pass of the night. She threw it low only so the receiver could get it, and somehow Kristen Morrison comes up with another interception. What a play by Morrison.
That looked like it was intended for Alyssa Stangl, and Stangl didn't get a grasp of it. Ball was batted around, and give credit for Kristen Morrison coming up and just snagging the ball out of the air.
Heads up play. It's sad to say Canfield's best pass of the night got picked off.
Chicago again on the Denver side of the field. A 1st and 10 at the 24. That is a toss right play. Tamar Fennell Number 1 getting it down to inside the 8-yard line. That was a 15-yard carry.
For all the new LFL fans, Tamar Fennell was an all-fantasy running back in Cleveland. Back then, she was one of my favorite running backs. She's back in the backfield, giving a spell to the Ferrari, and she still has it.
Ball down to the 7-yard line of Denver, with Chicago already up 40-6. Caldwell under center. Servillian in motion. Again, another mishandled snap. That is a reverse. And Ty Alley into the end zone for another Chicago touchdown.
This play did not work earlier. They put the Smurf set again in with Ty Alley. She's in the slot to the left. They bring her underneath, hand her the football. You mentioned another bobbled snap, but they get her in the end zone. Alley's got skills.
I'm not sure if those snaps are the fault of Brittany Wilson, the center. It just feels like Jane Caldwell is not getting a good handle on the football.
The most basic thing for a quarterback is getting the snap. That is all repetition and practice. Again, the question is Jane Caldwell running back playing quarterback, or is she a quarterback? And she has to be able to take clean snaps like any quarterback in the world.
That is a 2-point attempt. Caldwell, a little confusion, keeps it herself. No problems getting into the end zone. So on paper, at least, this will look real good. 48-6.
You think? It looks excellent. I'll tell you what's outstanding is that offensive line of Chicago. Meg Campbell, Quincy Hewitt, Brittany Wilson, they are blowing away the defensive line every play. Unbelievable blocking.
Ball at the 15 as Denver goes back to work. At 48-6, partner, you got to think the game is out of reach.
Listen, goddammit! Pay your fucking attention! Pay attention! We look like fucksticks out there against these guys. Pay attention!
How about that? He's up 48-6, and Coach Hack finding something to be upset about.
He is. He knows championship teams don't make the mistakes they're doing. He is not happy at all. Any good coach would not be. Right now, he's laying in them. He's going to do that the whole game as long as they keep making little mistakes.
While we were away listening to Coach Hack, that was Canfield connecting with Mary Towner. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half. A gain of 7, setting up a 2nd and 3.
At halftime, Carlos Bates, he probably got on his quarterback of the way she's throwing the football. She's throwing the football. She's throwing darts right now.
Canfield remains in the shotgun. We're going to have a penalty here. This should be on Denver.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 13. 5 yards. Remains 2nd down.
That'll push him back to about the 12-yard line, setting up a 2nd and 8.
Right now, Carlos Bates, he has to get in his players' minds like this game is starting over, anew. Forget the score. You got to go out there. You're playing against the champs. You have to play good football from now to the end of the game.
That's an excellent point. I think you forget about the circumstance of the score at this point, and you're just trying to build some continuity on this team. Another pass over the middle, almost intercepted. This time, Dominique Collins.
Dominique Collins, arguably the best cornerback in the game, all over the receiver. Again, a bad snap. I hate to say it, but it's happening on both sides of the ball.
Hey, ref! Tell him this is the LFL. This is the LFL. The fuck? Hey, back up. Hey!
Coach Hack, he is fired up about the officiating right now. He can't believe they called that penalty. He said, this is the LFL. Let that play go.
That Chicago penalty keeps the Denver drive alive here. Canfield throwing into the flat. That is intercepted. Kim Perez getting it down to about the 14 of Denver. How about this swarming defense?
What a scheme by Myra Knox, the defensive back coach. Kim Perez, the free safety, right before the snap, she came up under the coverage. Quarterback Canfield did not expect her to be there. Watch her come under the coverage. The free safety shouldn't be there, makes a great play. Great call by the coach. Chicago has the ball again.
I don't think you could say enough about the pure athleticism on this Chicago roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
very deep at all positions.
And that is JaVale Thompson getting into the end zone. That is the third score for number 6.
JaVale Thompson, most jockeys have one horse. Keith Hack's got 4 horses in the backfield. Watch the outside blocking, the start blocking, outstanding. Took the DBs out of the play. Thompson walks in the end zone.
Chicago now on top, 54-6. This game ended pretty much in the second quarter.
It was over, but now for Chicago, they have to work on the little things. Again, we said forget the first half for Denver. Chicago, same way. They have some big games coming up. They have to work on their little things.
Mainly that center to quarterback exchange. It looked good there. Into the flat. Great placement by Caldwell. Connecting with A.J. Johnson.
Jane Caldwell could be an excellent quarterback right there. You hit the nail on the head. The placement on the football outside, either that ball is caught or it's incomplete. That's a quarterback.
Johnson finally connecting with Caldwell. Those two will need to get on the same page if this team, and particularly this offense, makes another Legends Cup run.
Did you see the way A.J. Johnson caught that football with her fingers? Not with her palms, with her fingers, like great receivers. She's got sticky fingers.
Canfield this time under center, hands off. That is to Haley Ryan. Ryan did have some success in the first half, gaining 7 yards on that carry.
You got to question Coach Bates. He did not go back to Ryan. You're correct. She had a great couple runs in the first half, but that's the first we've heard of her in a long time.
Now a 2nd and 3 for this Denver offense. There's a look at Kristen Morrison. Just a physical specimen, walking away with the 2016 Defensive Player of the Year honor.
This entire defense, they are loaded. I don't know a defense I've ever seen with this much talent.
Ball at the 17-yard line. Canfield, a lot of traffic in that backfield and throwing at the feet of Haley Ryan.
Dominique Collins, this is why you let her go one-on-one with receivers. She can cover anybody one-on-one. Give her an island, she can cover it. She's on an island so much you think she's on a vacation.
She does not get a lot of credit, Dominique Collins, an all-fantasy corner, granted, but she doesn't get talked up around the league a lot because she's overshadowed by the likes of Christelle Harris, Allie Alberts, A.J. Johnson, Kristen Morrison. The list goes on.
The players around the league know how talented she is, but you're correct. She's not a big mouth girl. She's not going to yell. She just plays football.
And speaking of Kristen Morrison, what an open field tackle on Haley Ryan.
Denver has to work on the techniques on the offensive line. To be successful, you have to protect the quarterback. Right now, Canfield's getting no protection. The running backs are getting no blocking, no holes. Granted, it's against a great defense, but they have to work on little things.
A 4th and 7 for this offense. They have got to convert here. Giving Chicago another short field will blow this game wide open.
You got to love this defense. They're not a defensive football. They're an offensive defensive football. They're trying to score points right now.
And this will be a delay a game on Denver.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Offense, 5 yards, remains 4th down.
So what was a makeable or convertible 4th and 7 now goes to 4th and 12.
Right now you have to work on the psyche of the team. That's all coaching. Right now you could go in a hole or you go back and play football.
A 4th and 12 pass and dropped. That is the 2nd drop pass, this time by Allie Alberts. That was a gift-wrapped interception. Nonetheless, Chicago up comfortably, 56-6. Back to LFL football night. A great night indoors, but the home team down 56-6. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco and Brenna Black.
It should have been 62. Allie Albert, she's a little rusty. She hasn't played in a year. She would never have dropped that ball. It was thrown right to her. She could have walked in the end zone, but she dropped it.
Jane Caldwell remaining in the game at quarterback. despite the lopsided score here. It's a little option play and into the end zone. This is becoming too easy. Christelle the Ferrari Harris.
Right now, that defense has absolutely no firemen at all. Nobody tried to tackle the Ferrari. Brittany Wilson, even with a bad snap, they ran a straight option down the line. Nobody attacked the quarterback, and nobody touched the Ferrari.
I'm not sure this defense wants to tackle. You could see them talking it over there. Nobody is swarming to the football. There's no passion in this.
There's no passion, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. On the sideline, too, right now, there's no coaches getting behind this team.
And Chicago will now line up for the 1-point conversion. They have been converting a bunch of 2-point scores. Probably not looking to lay it on here too thick. Handoff inside, Christelle Harris. And she could have converted that in her sleep. And that'll extend Chicago's lead 63-6.
You brought up a great point. We have films of Coach Hack the entire first half. He's up by 30, 40 points, and he is yelling and screaming at his team. You see the fire, the passion. You just don't see it on the Denver side.
I believe this is just trial by fire. We've talked about it last week with Pittsburgh and Omaha, there being no preseason football to get a team ready. Well, this is worse. This team is yet to play. This is their first night. And let's not make light of the fact that they're facing the toughest roster in the entire league.
When I spoke to Coach Bates about that, I mentioned that. I said, you know, what a way to open up your coaching career going against the champs. He actually thought that they could beat them tonight.
How about Chantel Taylor? What a night number 19 is having.
She's phenomenal. One of the star athletes, defensive ends ever to play in the LFL. She's having fun out there now.
That was a loss of 3 on the sack of Canfield. Setting up a 2nd and 13, ball backed up to the Denver 7.
You made a good point, though. Can you imagine your first game ever as an offensive lineman for Denver, and you're going against Nneka Nawani and Chantel Taylor?
How about Kristen Morrison? The Mike Mick middle linebacker is not shabby.
I know.
2nd and 13. We're going to have another delay of game here. Canfield is spending way too much time in the huddle. That'll back him up to the 4-yard line.
This is where the leaders, the quarterbacks, the Lauren Fogels, who have played in this league, they got to bring the team together. Right now, nobody's excited to play football.
2nd and 16. Poor snap, dribbling back to Canfield. And Canfield barely out of the end zone. That was a loss of another 3 yards. They're backed up inside the 1.
I mean, they're little things right there. I know it's her first game, but right there, Canfield has got, you got to get in your center's face and say, get me the football. You can't just say, okay, sorry about that. You have to be mean and tell her to get you the football.
3rd and 19 from the shotgun. Canfield back to pass, almost intercepted. Mallory McDowell getting laid out by Kristen Morrison.
I don't know how that wasn't intercepted. Right through the hands of Dominique Collins. Right now, she's shaking her head. Like, how did I miss that? Somehow got through for a completion. I got to hand it to Canfield. She completed the ball. Watch this go right through Dominique Collins' hands. She throws it right there. Boom. That could have been 6 again for Chicago.
I keep talking up Kristen Morrison as if I'm in the fan club, but you know what? I am in the fan club.
I am in the fan club. Tackles like that, form tackle into the wall. I love her.
Another high snap here. Just getting it down inside the 1.
I hate to say it, but that's all coaching. I mean, why do you consistently look? Nobody's excited on the sideline.
Yeah, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of dialogue there. Everybody has a shell-shocked look. And as coaches, there's got to be more communication here.
Well, it's easy. If you practice enough, if the shotgun, for whatever reason, is not working, if they're short or high like they're doing it right now, get under the center. Just take a basic snap.
I mean, there's the center, Lindsey Field, coming off the field after poor snap, and nobody is getting in her face.
No, we're not coaching her up or telling her, let's just go underneath the center. I can tell right now, this team just needs to get on the field and play football in practice. They're not ready to play tonight.
There is some coaching there. We can't get on him too much. Carlos Bates overwhelmed here. And on the other side of the ball, Chicago, yet another short field, a 1-yard field. And that pass dropped by Tamar Fennell.
Tamar Fennell, one of my favorite players. She's been around the league a long time. I love her. She can play her anywhere. You can play wide receiver, safety. But you know how I know she's been around the league? Right before the game, I saw her walk around the locker room. She was wearing Crocs.
That is a sense of comfort. Maybe that's a shout out to her Aussie quarterback, Jane Caldwell.
It could be. I just thought, you know, the old Crocs, they've been around a long time too.
I don't think anybody ever wore Crocs but you, Bobby Huco.
And I like them. I still wear them.
With the black socks. Now a 2nd and goal for Chicago. Inside the 1-yard line. Another mishandle of the snap. And Caldwell will be down right there at the 1-yard line.
I am personally going nuts at this on both sides of the ball. How do you fumble this many snaps? This is like grade school.
Caldwell has either struggled in handling the football or it's been a poor snap.
Taking snaps is so easy. You should be able to do it one-handed. I was taught you put your throwing hand up top, you give pressure, and the center puts it where the pressure is. You don't even need your second hand. You grab it with it, but if you're good at snaps, you don't even need the second hand. Both teams right now are fumbling snaps, and I hate it.
A 3rd and goal now for this
Rolling
offense.
on the field, she was down by contact. 3rd down.
That was the previous play. Jane Caldwell was touched as she recovered her fumble. So the ball now is at about the 2-yard line.
Even in the NFL, the first thing you do is take snaps in practice. Every team should do that.
Let's see how they fare here. Caldwell with a good snap this time. Nobody up the middle, so she will walk it in. And Lauren Fogel lowers the shoulder after Caldwell had crossed. And Christelle Harris taking exception to that.
At least somebody's got fire on this football team. Fogel's just tired of all these touchdowns. Nobody's helping Fogel out. We know her. She's a fiery football player, good defensive player. Nobody's trying to tackle the quarterback. That is horrible defense.
You could see Harris there going back after Fogel. Head referee Tony Bates here will probably call a
touchdown is good. After the play, unnecessary roughness number 13, Chicago. Unnecessary roughness number 2, Denver. Those penalties offset. Will do the try.
I think he meant Lauren Fogel, number 13. So those penalties will offset as Chicago will line up for its extra point attempt.
I don't blame Fogel at all. She knows how to play football. She needs to teach her teammates.
This will be a 1-point attempt, another poor snap. And Caldwell just crawling into the end zone. That'll make our score 70-6. I don't think you're ever going to see a coach with that look on their face when they're up 76.
I don't blame them. I mean, you wouldn't think with these little penalties and these offsides and the snaps, they're up 70-6, but how can you fumble that many snaps?
And in case you're wondering, that was a 1-yard drive by Chicago. It's a wonder that our score is 70-6.
Well, we spoke about it at halftime. The average scoring drive was 10.3 at halftime. It might be lower than that now.
A 1st and 10, ball at the 15. Another snap sailing over the head of Canfield. And Canfield not making a great effort to recover, and that'll be another Chicago score.
I can't believe it. I'm going to go get a drink. You want a drink? I can't. I am so tired of seeing fumbled snaps. Great play by Allie Alberts, but what is going on with the center, Lindsey Fields, again, over the quarterback's head for I don't know how many times now, and she's not in a rush to get the football, gets crushed. Alberts gets an easy touchdown. Unbelievable.
Now, I realize I don't have a coaching degree. You actually coach some football in the LFL, and Canfield there finally getting up after being shaken up. But at what point do you move your quarterback under center knowing that Fields is struggling the way she is?
In the second quarter, when it started happening, you don't let 10 of them happen. When the second one happens, and it's so simple, even if you want to stay in the shotgun, move up a yard so the ball can't go over your head. It's so simple to correct, but right now the coaches are not doing anything.
That is a dead sideline. Look at Coach Carlos Bates. Not a word spoken. I don't see Lindsey Fields out there.
nobody's talking to Lindsey Fields. You know, we've been all over her, but nobody's coaching her up how to correct what's going on. This is crazy.
And I normally don't go here, Bobby, in one of our broadcasts, but this is arguably the worst coaching I have seen in the league.
I'm telling you, the players, there's some talent out there, but little things like that, the snap, there's no excuse.
And that's Christelle Harris lowering her shoulder and extending Chicago's lead to 77-6.
This is too easy. I have never seen a coaching staff with a deer in headlights. I've seen players, when the lights come on, they get shocked when the game starts. But right now, nobody's helping anybody on that Denver side.
And for Denver, more bad news. Their offense is out on the field.
The offense actually has some skills. And then we saw them go in for a drive in the first half. We haven't seen much since that, but McDowell can catch. Walker can catch. Canfield, when she has time, she can throw the football a little bit. They just got to get together a little bit. Number one, get the snap.
No, absolutely. You can see Canfield is now under center. Actually, that is Alyssa Stongel, so we have a change at quarterback. An ugly-looking shovel pass. That was intended for Lauren Fogel, falling incomplete.
I got to hand it to Stongel, though. She got the snap. She got a playoff. We can have something to talk about. That's what happens when you get a snap. You can actually play football.
You could see Canfield was shook up after trying to recover that fumble in the end zone. We will check with LFL Medical to see if she's going to return.
Stongel, she's a big athlete, 5'11", 122 from Greenlee, Colorado. She's known to throw the football. She's a big quarterback. Let's see if she can play.
That will bring us to the end of 3 quarters of play in a game that Chicago has dominated from the opening snap. They are up 77-6 behind the play of a defense and Jane Caldwell. Back for the 4th quarter after this. Back for the final 10 minutes of football, and give it to this crowd. Not many have left despite the score of 77-6.
I actually feel bad for them. You're right. They're fired up. Great crowd. They want to see good football, but their home team's down over 70.
Canfield under center, and thank God. That's a handoff to Lauren Fogel. Fogel really the only bright light on both sides of the ball. Going back to an earlier point you made in the end zone, she is the only one showing any heart here.
I like this move. Actually, this is the best move I think the coach made all night. Fogel is definitely a fiery football player. She's strong. She can run. We know her as a defensive player. I like putting her in running back position.
They're going to keep her in the backfield. And good news for Denver. Canfield is back in the game. Under center, kind of a stretch play. That was ugly from the beginning. Chantel Taylor. Can you say enough about Taylor and Kristen Morrison tonight?
Outstanding football players. They tried that stretch play to try to go outside a reach block on Chantel Taylor. I don't think that's going to happen. The Denver offensive line hasn't blocked her all night. A reach block, one of the hardest blocks to do. You can't hook Taylor.
They just cannot contain those DNs. And I don't know that a lot of people will be able to do that this season.
No, they can't. Again, this is a tough start. Tough team to play your first time out there. But they got to do it for pride right now.
4th and 6, ball at the 19-yard line. Canfield, a little misdirection. Oh, and gets slammed to the boards. This is just kind of a shooting gallery for this defense. That was Nneka Nwani.
That is the one person you don't want to get slammed by. Nneka Nwani coming at you full bore. What a hit. She's limping right now, but trust me, she's not hurt. Watch this hit. Bootleg, I like that. They finally got a bootleg, but there's no pass option in it. She gets slammed into the boards, but you're doing a bootleg on 4th down. You have to have a receiver coming across the field on a drag to throw to. They just ran a straight bootleg run. Again, no offense, no scheme by Denver.
Canfield just has the look of a quarterback that's played for about 20 years, despite this being her first game.
She's taken a beating tonight. You know what? She's a competitor, a fine athlete. She needs a lot of help, though.
That's Javelle Thompson, and there's that Denver Olay defense. They look like a bunch of matadors out there with a bull.
What a run by Javelle Thompson. Watch this move that she puts on Lauren Fogel. Open field tackler. Fogel is a good open field tackler. Watch this jump up. Boom! She broke her ankle untouched into the end zone. They are so deep at running back, anybody would want to play quarterback for this team.
83 points by Chicago. There's a look at Coach Carlos Bates. What do you do if you're the head coach of an expansion team that's being taken to the woodshed like this?
Pray. I think the only thing you can do right now is pray. Because you can't score that many points. In fact, the scoreboard right now, I don't know if it can hold any more points than this.
This is the extra point attempt, a 1-point conversion. Jane Caldwell has been doing that all night. That'll extend Chicago's lead to a mere 78 points.
This is getting ugly. Uglier than I ever thought it was going to be. There's no way, I don't think I'd ever think a team would have over 84 points, and there's still a lot of time left.
That was a one-play, 18-yard drive by Chicago. And I've said this several times this game. If you give a team like Chicago a short field like this, they're gonna take advantage. So from a scheme standpoint, if you're Denver, why didn't you come into this game trying to establish a run game to at least have an opportunity to move the chains? You're opening it up with an untested quarterback like Canfield, and Alyssa Stongle's completely lost a backup quarterback. You've got to keep it on the ground like this.
That's what they were supposed to do. I'd have no idea why they came out, and again, it's the first time we witnessed Denver play too. Canfield's a great athlete, but she's not a thrower. Coach Bates gave me the impression that she could drop back and throw it like Cam Newton, and she cannot. So you have to establish the ground game, and we saw it. Haley Ryan, she can run. Fogel can run, but there's no offensive scheme. You hit it.
Yeah, there's got to be something where you can sustain the possession with a rolling clock and have an opportunity when you're throwing it almost every down. It's quick turnovers to that Chicago offense. This is Ryan again, nothing doing, as this Chicago defense is smelling blood in the water.
Well, they only have a couple sets. If you watch Chicago and most of the teams in the LFL, they have numerous offensive sets. Seattle's got 120 plays. Right now, Denver is so predictable. And their runs, it's basic dives. I mean, they're not doing anything flashy. They're not deceiving anybody. They need a lot of work.
That was Kristen Morrison again, combining with Kim Perez. If I'm Atlanta, Chicago, or Los Angeles, I'm really taking notice of this Chicago defense. This is a 3rd and 7 play, ugly handoff, and somebody's going to get hurt out there. It feels like this Denver offense is mentally checked out of this game.
Checked out, and they have no coaching again. That is an option play where the quarterback is running backwards, and you attacked at the inside shoulder of the defensive end on any read option down to that side, and she ran backwards, and they lost 5 yards on that play.
That loss of 5 yards setting up a 4th and 11 in another scenario where it's 4 downs and more than likely a turnover on downs, giving Chicago another short field.
Short field the entire game, the entire first half, and now we're seeing it again. They can't get the football over the 25-yard line.
Canfield under center, looking to the right side, and the receiver was not even looking back. Nearly intercepted again by Allison Alberts.
I can't stress it enough. The coaching is not there so far. Right there, the receiver's not even looking for the football. I know they practice, but they're not showing anything in the game. When the receiver doesn't even know she's getting the football,
you gotta keep
that's just not practice.
Let's go. We okay. Hey, look, we okay. I understand that. I understand that. Yeah.
Coach Carlos Bates saying, we okay.
I just don't get it. Can you imagine Chris Michelson in Seattle, Dane Robinson in Atlanta, Keith Hack, if they're down 84-6 to say we're okay?
That is Tamar Fennell getting into the end zone for another Chicago touchdown.
Unbelievable. This defense is looser than a pair of old socks. Watch this. She gets the ball. There's defenders coming at her, but nobody touches her. Look at this. Nothing there, nothing there. Nobody, this is not even football anymore.
If it were two-hand touch, this would be one of the better defenses in the game, but since it's not, I just don't understand the scheme. I don't understand the mindset. This is a whole different level of football. There's women's football out there. These are the greatest athletes, and this is the biggest game in women's football, and they are not ready for prime time.
Not at all. They're not ready for anybody. They're not ready for Pittsburgh. They got a lot to work to do. They have some athletes. You know, it's all on the coaches if they can get ready for the next game.
The 1-point attempt. Christelle Harris backing into the end zone. That will extend our lead to get this 91-6.
Wow. Maybe the coaching staff thought this was a flag football league. I don't get it. There's no tackling out there, no aggression, no passion except for Fogle.
Denver's offense will get a few more opportunities here. And like you said, one of the good, I guess if you're a silver lining kind of guy, which I think I am, and I'm a Denver fan, I like the fact that I'm getting live reps now against possibly the best defense in the game.
That's what you have to do. That's the mindset right now. Heck with the points, and it's a ton of points, but right now you got to work on your game. You have a whole season of games coming up. You got to work on your game now.
There are 3 more games, and look at Alyssa Stongel. I don't know what that is.
That's called a hospital ball. That'll put somebody in the hospital if they catch it.
And I don't know why you're throwing the ball at this point with a backup quarterback that throws like a left foot. That's a close look at Carlos Bates, who's also the defensive coordinator. And like you said, this is something that, look, you got to look at the film if you're Denver, learn from it, but then you got to burn that film.
You got to burn it. You got to go in the practice field and work on every little technique in the game of football. Tackling, blocking, passing, snapping the football, everything.
2nd and 10 play. You are not going to get away from Kristen Morrison. That is a loss of 2 yards. Make that Marissa Galladay of Chicago.
Was that even a play selection, or was that like the quarterback saying, I'm going to take the snap and try to run around the end? That's a play?
Yeah.
I got to blame the coaches big time on this.
Yeah, I think the offensive coordinator has pretty much thrown in the towel and looking to just run out this clock and get out of this building. A 3rd and 12 now. Ball at the Denver 13. This is turning into the bad news Bears. This is almost like you're just feeding chum to a bunch of great white sharks.
It's like a horror movie. It's bad decision after bad decision. You know at the end of the movie where they keep going wrong turn and get caught by the ghost or whatever, or the killer? Every decision they make is wrong.
I think the point you made earlier, though, that's something I'd be concerned about. If you're not going 100%, which this offense is not right now, that is when you get hurt.
It is. You got to play football.
Stongel back to pass on a 4th down, chucks it down the field. That's Dominique Collins. And another turnover. Collins getting it down to the Denver 13-yard line.
Wow, I can't believe this offensive scheme. Is this another play? Throw it up and see if somebody comes down with it. It's unbelievably bad offense right now.
The only defense is they would have turned it over anyways. It was 4th down, and perhaps they served that as a punt.
For Chicago right now, I know this is not a good team they're playing, but there's still time left on the clock. Jane Caldwell has got to work on the little things herself. Game's not over. Get some reps in.
They've got a pretty big game coming up, does the Chicago Bliss. June 3rd at home versus the Atlanta Steam, their rival.
Atlanta will be ready for that. Dane Robinson, that team, their quarterback, Dakota Hughes, one of the best, but she has not won the big one yet.
Another shovel, and that is a loose ball. Finally, an error by the Chicago offense and the Denver defense capitalizing.
Just what we were speaking about. Jane Caldwell, they're up big, but a basic option play, she didn't run it right at the turnover.
And look at the look on the face of Coach Keith Hack. He is not happy with that offense despite the scoreboard.
Leah Fire, he is upset with her. The ball's on the ground, drops the pitch, but nobody goes after the football.
That is kind of like what we saw last week in Omaha when Nikki Bernhardt fumbled the ball, and instead of going after it, she just immediately reacts to it. That is what Leah Fire did. That's an inside handoff to Lauren Fogle. No gain on the play. Chantel Taylor once again on the tackle.
I love Chantel Taylor. Look at the shape she is. She is a workout warrior. In fact, I love the fact that she worked on squats by putting the champagne on the lower part of her refrigerator. Love that girl.
Chantel Taylor, definitely a little bit of a partier off the field from what we understand at least. Let's not bury her. We don't know that for a fact.
If she can play like this, she can drink whatever she wants.
Known to celebrate a few championships, number 19. That is again Lauren Fogel. Check that, Haley Ryan. No gain. And guess who was on the tackle?
Did Jim McMahon, another great Chicago player, he'd like to partake in a couple beers?
Jimmy Mack, the 85 Bears. This defense is starting to play like that defense.
You're right. You are 100% right. As Coach Hack said, this is his finest defense in his career as a coach. I've never seen one like this. This, in fact, is the 85 Bears for the LFL.
This should take us down to the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
As Chicago, 91-6, sending a message across the league. The Legends Cup champions are back. Back for the final 2 minutes of football here in Denver, Colorado, with the home team Denver Dream having nothing but short of a nightmare on its opening night.
It is a nightmare. You talked about Chicago. You know what's scary is that they're winning by this much, scoring over 90 points, and the offense isn't even clicking yet.
That is a 3rd and 10 play. Haley Ryan barely getting out of the end zone. And I kind of agree with this. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. But can you imagine the Chicago team when this offense starts getting in gear, getting snaps, getting the passing game going like they have with the receivers? It is scary for everybody.
We talked about the defense. The Chicago defense is definitely in mid-season form. To your point, if Allie Alberts, A.J. Johnson get on the same page as Jane Caldwell, I don't know that there's a better collection of athletes ever on one roster.
Absolutely. I get on Caldwell because I'm an old quarterback. But if she gets everything going, we know she can win. But with these receivers, she can be great.
4th and 12 now for the Denver offense. And this Chicago team whooping it up already. They know that is going to be a great plane ride back to O'Hare Airport.
That is a fun team. We've been with them after they won the Legends Cup. That is a fun team to party with.
Chantel Taylor, Kristen Morrison, Shabria Civilian. What a game Javelle Thompson has had.
Javelle Thompson is outstanding. What running backs they have. Even Tamar Fennell behind Thompson. Unbelievable depth.
This is a 4th and 12 ball at the Denver 1. Alyssa Stongel still at quarterback. Losing the ball. This is getting ugly. It's been ugly. Alyssa Stongel not happy. Yet Denver giving up another 2 points here. Our score will go to 93-6.
This is only fitting. This is the only way they haven't scored today. A safety to just drop the football. This offense is so inept right now, and Coach right there, Coach Bates has to get this together.
I think all of this lands on that gentleman's front door. He did not have this team ready mentally or physically tonight, and the scoreboard reflects that.
100%. That is all coaching and practice and repetition.
Let's see if Chicago just simply takes a knee here. They are in a victory formation. Caldwell will take a knee and end the bleeding. This crowd wants a little more action. I'd want to get out of here.
They love this game. That's why it's sad that this is the product that Denver has right now. The fans, you mentioned it before, great fans. They want to see great football. They love this game. Now they need their home team to get it together.
Speaking of the home team, Denver, it does not get easier. After this, they have a May 20th matchup in Seattle. And as we talked about earlier, Chicago goes home to face the Atlanta Steam.
And I can guarantee you, quarterback coach Matt Pike will have Jane Caldwell out there every day working on little things to become a better quarterback. She can become one of the top quarterbacks, but it's going to take work and time.
I think it's just her delivery and mechanics that don't impress a lot of people, so she gets looked down upon as a quarterback. If she can work on the mechanics, she can be a very solid franchise-type quarterback in the LFL.
100%. And again, she's not the flashy quarterback. She's not the Michelle Angel. She's not a Salerno in Los Angeles. But she is a solid, I mentioned it before, Tebow-type quarterback. She wins. She's a winner. We know that. She needs to work on the little techniques. She's going to be a good quarterback. Matt Pike's a great coach. Remember now, Mitch, she came in from California. She moved to Chicago. New players, new coaches, new city. Give her a little bit of time. I think she's going to be a good one.
What a performance by Chicago. And as we've talked about throughout the night, a lot of work left to be done in the Mile High City. And that will do it for us, partner. A score of 93-6 for Bobby Huco. Brenna Black. This is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week on LFL Football Night.